Okay, guys, so here's the deal. We're going to go ahead and do our live video like we normally do. We're going to try and keep the phone calls to about 5 to 7 minutes. If you guys see me going past 5 to 7 minutes, please just remind me in the chat section, hey, we're at 5 minutes. Hey, we're at 7 minutes. The idea here is that my phone goes into full seizure mode when basically people call in. So what I'm going to do is just give you a heads up. We're going to do the live video, the 5 to 7 minutes. And then tomorrow, we're going to be starting to do the setup and finalization for where people can hire me away from the firm, away from representation before the SSA for $250 an hour. That way, people who need more time have that secondary option to go ahead and talk to me, give me some more story mode and go through it. But for these are only 5 to 7 minutes. So please have your legal question ready, be ready to roll, all that stuff. And then we'll kind of go from there. I'm going to go ahead and switch the phone. Please remember when you call in to essentially use a fake name throughout the process. This is all, we don't want to use your real name. And then also go ahead and basically remember it's either ask me, have me answer a legal question or run hearing questions with you. So I'm going to go ahead and call back this first person real quick, and then we'll get this rolling and get this going. Let me know if you guys can essentially hear it okay, and then we'll go from there. Perfect. All right, let's see if we can get this person on the phone. Here we go. And then here's the number, guys. I'll put it inside here. Okay, good. All right, we'll see. We're going to get, watch, we won't have, oh, if he doesn't pick up, that'll be such a bad intro. All right, let's see if we can get the person on the phone. Here we go. Come on. All right, can get him on the phone. Whoa, tonight might be a rare one. Watch, we'll go from like 1,000 zillion people calling in to like nobody calling in tonight. Hold on. So here we go. Let's see if we can get this person on the phone. Here we go. That would be so crazy if we had two in a row that didn't pick up.
I don't know. Someone's calling me.
Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Basically doing the show that we do every Thursday night. Did you have a legal question for disability benefits? And remember to use a fake name throughout the process. Go ahead. Hello?
There's a spam call I haven't heard.
Okay, so apparently that person who called me not too long ago thought, all right, I don't know what to tell you guys. There's person who called a couple of times. I called him back. Didn't call in. Let's try it again. This is so weird because normally there's like a gajillion people calling. So, all right, here we go. Let's try and get this person again. Something might be going on. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. He called at 8:30, so I was like, all right, I'll just grab this one since he was the first that called in. This is so weird. We may have a really unique night where there's just nobody calling in. Let's see. That's crazy. All right, so bottom line, okay, so here's the thing. I don't know why this is going on. Normally we have normally the phone literally has like, within the first 5 minutes, at least like 40 people have called or tried to call in. So since this is a unique situation, answer it. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's a night off for a while. Yeah, honestly, I could definitely use a night off. That's not a bad suggestion. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a question or run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I applied in October for disability, and I just got a notice that it has cleared the medical review stage and gone to a further non-medical review, a second one. And I was just wondering, is that typical or?
So the way it works is this. Basically, DDS will go ahead and send it up for quality control. Quality control or the field office. The field office then has to look at the non-medical aspect of it, which is, if it's SSI, there's a bunch of poverty restrictions. Maybe there's earnings on the record, whatever. But they'll look at the non-medical aspect of the claim. And then at that point, basically, the local field office will either, press the green light button for go, where you get payments, or, they'll have to stop it because there's some other thing in the record that's not medically based, but like, administrative, financial, penal, which is like jail or prison, stuff like that based. So, yeah, that's a really good sign. You're very likely, so long as you don't have any non-medical issues, to go ahead and be approved.
Is there anything I should do, like submit at this stage, that would help?
Well, no, I mean, at this point, you just have to be able to answer the questions of when they call you. So what you're going to have coming up is what's called, I got to do a video on this, the pre-effectuation interview. The pre-effectuation interview is where the local field office will call you and ask you some basic questions. Now, are you an SSDI person or an SSI person?
I applied for both.
Okay, cool. So do you currently, like, more than $2,000 in the bank, more than one car, more than one house, stuff like that?
No.
Okay, so bottom line is they're going to call you and ask you a bunch of SSI relevant questions. Do you have any life insurance policies? Do you have 2 vehicles? Do you have, this much, money in some account in, a foreign country, whatever. They're going to look at all that stuff. And so long as you meet the poverty standard requirements, then they'll go ahead and give you the approval for SSI. But with that said, as long as you have enough quarters of coverage, and, even if you do violate some of the SSI poverty provisions, they can still approve you for SSDI benefits, which is what you really want, because that tends to be more per month. And also you get Medicare as opposed to Medicaid, which you get with SSI. So the bottom line is, have they set up at this point a pre-effectuation interview, a phone call with you with the local field office?
No, it was just yesterday that I got noticed on the website that this had happened.
Okay, cool. So bottom line is, about a week to 2 weeks from now, you're going to get a phone call. Phone call will say, hey, we're going to go ahead and set up time, or they'll just send you a letter. This is the time you have to be ready for us to call you. And then essentially from there, you'll go ahead and go through that interview. And that interview will dictate whether or not you get benefits. And, remember, since you're also potential for SSI, they're going to ask you a bunch of SSI questions. Now, the thing that most people get screwed up on is basically when they had 2 things. Number one, when they had somebody who was assisting them, how they assisted them. Did they give them food? Did they give them shelter? Whatever. And so they'll ask you, okay, did this person help in this month or that month or this month or that month? Because they're going to use that to reduce your SSI back pay during those months. However, if your SSDI back pay is available and higher than your SSI back pay, then what will happen is your SSDI back pay will basically, be the one that they use for the calculation. And then essentially, what will occur then is, they're not as concerned with anybody helping you, because anybody can help you while you're waiting to be found disabled for SSDI benefits, because that's a benefit you paid for. SSI benefits, that's not a benefit you paid for. That's why they come down hard on SSI recipients with all these restrictions. So bottom line is, you're in a good spot. Just be ready to answer questions about, banking. Be ready to answer questions about people helping you. Be ready to answer questions about, basically any recent vocational stuff, jobs, and any jail or prison stuff. That's the type of stuff they're going to ask you about.
Outstanding. I appreciate it a lot, and the videos.
Excellent, good sir. Well, you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll catch you a bit later.
Yes, sir. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, cool. So what's odd is that we just don't have tons of calls coming in today, which means, I guess, to some degree, I can let me see what's going on here. I mean, this might be a phone problem. This one, there's another one. Hold on. Let's see. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live right now on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
I guess I would like a specific question answered.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, that way everybody can hear me. Okay, I have breast cancer.
Okay.
I get SSD right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I just got a letter. I got 60 in like 2 weeks. I just got a letter the other day in the mail saying that I'm going to get so much for my retirement starting in September.
Okay.
Now, I think I'm pretty much on the road done with my chemo for my, I have maybe 6 more chemos, and I think I'm cancer-free. I think. I don't know, but let's just say I am. will my SSD stop then? How long will it take before they get a hold of me and be like, hey, you're not doing chemo anymore? Or will they, like, how long will it take before my disability ends?
I mean,
I guess is what I wanted.
Are we talking about leukemia, or like, what are we talking about here?
No, I have stage 3 breast cancer.
Oh, breast cancer. Okay, I thought you said blood cancer.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So,
no,
okay, gotcha. So bottom line is this. So you haven't been found disabled for SSDI benefits. You've applied, but you're waiting, and you have retirement coming up soon.
A year and a half now.
Okay.
I've been doing chemo for 2 years, yeah.
So bottom line is this. You're going to, your goal is to ride until you hit basically 66, 67, whenever your full retirement age is. Now, with that said, your question of when are they going to review me to say, hey, we don't think you're disabled anymore, blah, 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 blah. Remember, depending on how you were found disabled, depends on how they're going to look at the claim, but ultimately comes down to the 8-step sequential process, which are the elements they use to figure out if essentially you have improved and therefore should not be getting benefits. In your instance, just because you've stopped chemo doesn't mean that you've actually improved. Your symptoms could be terrible. You could be in a situation where you haven't improved to the point where you go back to work. And remember, once you get over 60 years old, the rules change specifically with how they look at whether or not you can work anymore doing other types of jobs. So now that you're above 60, there's a reduction in likelihood that they're going to go ahead and do a CDR and kick you off of benefits. Additionally, with that, you're very close to 63, which is where they usually cut it off for most of these to be done, unless they find fraud. But this doesn't sound like this isn't a fraud gig, So point is, yeah, you're very close to them not financially. It just doesn't make sense for them to do these CDRs after a certain point because you're so many years away from retirement. And also you're just too damn old. It's just, you're too old for them to, go through the process and spend money and say, oh, is she not disabled, etc. Now, with that said, something that I think a lot of people should be aware of, and I think this is a Republican thing, but if the Republicans are successful with raising the age of retirement, you better believe they're going to raise the standards of disability benefits to become disabled easily at an older age. So instead of it being like, the 50 rule, 55 rule, 60 rule, it's probably going to be the, 53 rule, the 57 rule, the 63 rule, or whatever, and stuff like that. So expect, if they do that, the Republicans will very likely also change the disability rules to being found disabled, which will then create a new higher age that they're likely to chase after people for essentially those CDRs to be completed. So instead of like the CDR cutoff being at like 63, it might become 65. Because then as they raise the age, it's more appropriate for them to keep investigating people, even if they're a little bit older.
Okay. And like I said, I got a letter yesterday saying that in September, because my birthday's in August, that I will start receiving my retirement. And I'm like, or whatever. And I'm like, I didn't even apply for it. What the heck? I'm like, okay, am I going to get 2 checks a month now? Like my disability and my retirement? Or will it just be into one?
No, so out of SSDI benefits and retirement benefits, they're both Title II. So you only get one. They're not stackable. They're not combinable. There's only one. And the reality is this, you should only be getting regular disability benefits, which you will sit and use until you basically get to your full retirement. Now, if you're getting under $1,000 and you have, so let me ask you this, are you getting any SSI benefits?
No, just disability.
Okay. So the point is, when it comes to, essentially disability benefits, you'll ride that to the full age. Now at 66, 67, the beautiful thing for you is that you no longer have to worry about at that point, all of the disability restrictions, all the things that they don't allow you to do while you're on disability, like the SGA limitation. Because once you hit basically 66, 67, if you want to go out there and earn $1 billion, you can do that. However, in the 1980s, middle 80s, timeline, Congress passed a bunch of taxation rules on people getting the retirement benefits while earning and working and earning more money. So they'll tax the hell out of your retirement benefits if you continue to work and earn more money, which is weird because you were initially taxed by them taking the money in the form of what's called FICA taxes throughout your entire life. So they double tax you, which is of course in some form unconstitutional, but they passed it, they went with it, and frankly, You know, they did it because they were in the same damn spot they are right now, which was in the 80s. They had, you know, the reality that the retirement trust fund was going to run out and the Medicare wasn't doing great and stuff like that. They were in the same spot that they're in nowadays. So as a result of that, historically, we know that bottom line, when the politicians push, you know, the Social Security issue to the 11th hour, we know that the people always suffer and face more taxes. They face lesser benefits, and they overall just don't get a better deal. So every generation that retires, the next retired generation always gets a lesser deal than the prior generation.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we're leaving this letter, and I guess it seems like now they're just going to pull out $164 a month for Medicare.
Gotcha.
And maybe 50. Now they're going to say, okay, I didn't really see that. Okay. So which means my disability is going to go down because they're going to start pulling $104.90 beginning of September out for Medicare.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, you got to for the Medicare option. Yeah, at that point, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You too, hon.
Thank you, man. Have a wonderful night.
Good work.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, hon.
Okay, cool, guys. So I'm going to call the next person. I guess we just don't have a lot of people calling in tonight. That's okay. I'm going to cry later. No, I was just kidding. Here we go. Let's get the next caller coming in. Let's see if we can get this person on the phone. Here we go. Also, thank you to Shirley. Excellent for the donation. Super appreciated. That's awesome. Let's see what we got here. Why is the phone doing that? Okay, there we go. Let's see if we can get this person real quick.
Hello, how are you?
Howdy, Madame. Attorney Walter Hnot. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Yeah, specific question.
Perfect. Go ahead.
I filed disability. They have my application in is like June 27th.
Okay.
But I needed to take my regular retirement. I'm 63.
Okay.
And until I get disability, is that going to affect anything?
Well, I mean, here's the deal.
Depending on how long I'm on it.
Yeah, it's going to lower your retirement amount, but, you know, because you're taking as opposed to taking later. But once you're found disabled, you'll switch, and then you'll switch back to retirement at 66, 67, whenever your full retirement age is. Is it going to negatively affect your disability benefits? No. It's part of the gig. It's part of the course. Yeah, so you'll be fine. You'll go ahead and just switch over once found. Yeah.
My chances are pretty good. I've got osteoarthritis and all my joints. I can't crochet anymore. I can't stoop, bend over, all of that stuff.
Sure.
So, plus I've got bad lungs because of COVID when I got it.
Gotcha. Well, hey, you know, so I would say this. Yeah, I mean, apply, try and get through, try and get it rolling. And, you know, if you run into issues, you can always give us a call back, you know?
All right. Well, I appreciate your help.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful, wonderful day.
And you too. Thank you, Walter.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let me call this next person. By the way, guys, just a quick update, a channel update, if you will. The person who always votes down the videos, no matter what happens, they're the most loyal anti-channel person, has officially woken up and voted the last two videos we did down. They're the only downvotes on it, but of course, they always pop in and do that. I don't know why this hater is so aggressive in doing this thing. I don't get it, but it is what it is. Some people, they hey, is what it is. All right, here we go. Next caller. Put it on speaker. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Also, would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Specific question.
Perfect, ma'am. How can I help you?
So I was on disability for stage 3B rectal cancer, and I got a CDR, and been in remission for the 3 years, but I have fatigue, and I've had 4 pelvic fractures, a lumbar fracture, so I have severe osteoporosis.
Okay.
And I put all these things down on my CDR, but I still got denied. So I'm filing an appeal. Do you have any recommendations for how to go about that. I tried to contact attorneys, and they all just say they don't do appeals anymore.
What? They don't do appeals for reconsideration?
Yeah, that's what I'm being told. The lawyer that I originally used to get on the disability said, no, we don't do appeals anymore. And I'm like, okay. So I filled out all the paperwork myself, and I've been trying to listen to, a lot of your programs, and like emphasizing, the weakness and stuff like that. But it's hard to get that onto paper to get somebody to understand. So my original CVR was denied, and now I put in an appeal, and
Gotcha.
I just don't know.
So
I feel like, I have improved from a remission, but as far as the energy and the stamina level, and just the repercussions of the multiple fractures and stuff, I'm just still not the same. And I've got a cataract from the radiation, and I just don't know how to go about doing my appeal. If you have any recommendations.
So the reason they're not taking the claim is because it's a CDR, and pretty much everybody across the entire United States is no longer doing CDRs. Also, if you're currently receiving a check, like you opted in to keep receiving it, the attorneys, they really can't represent you because that there's no back pay attachment. So the bottom line is, Oh yeah, go ahead.
I didn't opt to keep it because I didn't want to have to back pay, to have to pay it back. So I didn't do that. But even though I went to my doctor every time and I've continued to complain about the fatigue, it really wasn't recorded, in my records.
Right.
So they're like, if it's not on paper, it didn't happen. And I'm like, well, but all these fractures are on paper. But they're like, well, you don't currently have a fracture. And I'm like, yeah, but I have severe osteoporosis.
Yeah.
And I've had 5 fractures. They're like, well, if you don't have any currently, I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me.
So, okay. So, with that said, okay. So, all right. With those types of impairments, there are specific things that they're going to be looking for. And obviously, this is going to be a vocational allowance sort of gig with multiple impairments. Now that you've recovered to some degree, you have to show limitations with not being able to go ahead and work. Vocational allowance setting, because you're not going to be able to get listing criteria. What is the current age?
55.
Okay, so I mean, you're at a good spot because potential grade out options apply. 8-step sequential process. All right, so here's the deal. This is the type of question where it takes me a lot more time to give guidance on what you should do to fight the CDR situation. So what I would say is this. Okay, for things like this, it's going to take me more than 5 minutes to basically walk you through. For this type of impairment, they're going to be looking for this. When did you have treatment? What was the last treatment you had? When did you have something that basically checked on the status of it, where they did imaging, all that kind of stuff. This is more a question for this new program I'm trying to finalize tomorrow because I have the contract terms. They're quasi-final, but so basically what I would do with this is the option is you can always go ahead and hire me for an hour to go ahead and walk through the specifics with you. What are the doctors saying with you? Forward me the medical documentation. And then I can go through and tell you what the doctors need to be saying. What are the things you need to be saying to the doctor specifically for your impairments, based off of your actual condition. And then what types of, devices you need to be requesting, what types of prescriptions you need to be on, what types of things, they're going to be looking for as the type of medical treatment you're getting, outside of what you're already doing. So this would be one of those things where it's like that $250 per hour thing where it just takes me a longer amount of time to kind of explain. Okay. Yeah. So if you want, there's like 7-8 people on the list, but definitely reach out to me tomorrow. And once I finalize the program, that's one of those things where we can. And here's the thing with that, the things I would want to know about are the expanse of a 3-year period for medical documentation. What were the surgeries? What were the medical imaging tests that were done? If there were any blood tests or tests that looked at, chemical components, I want to know when those were. And also I want to know, essentially, what documentation you received from the SSA. And then basically, and they're probably not going to give this to you. I can access it when I represent claimants, but it's something that would be super helpful is if you can get a hold of if you try calling the local field office, see if you can get a hold of it or have them send it to you. It's called the SSA DDE report. It's the disability determination explanation. Again, the disability determination explanation. Have them send that to you, because then I can look through it and see which way their doctor was leaning, which way their vocational expert was going with how they outlined your claim.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful, wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, perfect. So, yeah, that one's going to take a while. That's not a quick claim right there. Next call we're going to be doing is, let me see. They just called in, but then I had to click the button, and now my phone isn't loading them. Wait, it's on. Hold on. We might have it here. Hold on. 1 seckaroo. Come on, phone. Here we go. It still says private on it. It takes a moment. Give the phone. It's an iPhone 11, and they left a message and still not showing me what they said. All right, that's fine. I just wanted to show me the number. Come on, there it is. All right, cool. Oh, same state. Cool. All right, here we go.
Hello?
Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer?
Oh,
Hi. Would you like?
yeah, I had a question concerning bad payees. My granddaughter seemed to have a problem where a woman was her payee and stole almost $4,000 of her money.
Sure.
And what happened is they've tried to call this woman numerous times.
Yeah.
And she doesn't respond to the worker.
Okay. So you got a payee that's non-responsive. You got a payee that stole money. Did you contact OIG?
Yes.
Okay. What did OIG say?
Well, they said they would investigate, but they didn't really say much.
Okay. So what you're saying is, hey, when is she going to get that money she was supposed to get? Correct?
Yeah. And also, this woman did some abusive issues to her as well. Are they going to prosecute, or is there going to come a time where, they're going to say, well, she's not responding back to us. She's totally ignoring us. It's time to prosecute.
OIG will prosecute. And let me be very clear about that. The way OIG usually looks at things is that there's an administrative violation. That's like the least of the baddies. Then there's a civil violation. That's the middle baddie level. And then there's the criminal violation, which is the baddie level. So you got administrative, civil, and,
As a woman, okay, this is a weird situation.
Okay.
My grandbaby was adopted by this woman.
Okay.
And and she's alleging that she was beaten and raped in the bathtub every night by this woman.
Okay.
And that she wouldn't, that this woman caused her disability. And this woman would put her in the net house for long periods of time.
Okay.
For months on end, and draw her check and cash it while she was locked up.
Okay.
And never tell Social Security that she was locking her up.
Okay.
So and when she turned 18, for 4 months, this woman had her locked up before her 18th birthday and kept getting her money while she was locked up and cashing the checks. And then after she got out of lockup and went back home to her biological family, she'd been home for 4 months, and this woman still got her money and cashed her checks.
Okay.
So they put a stop to it.
Yeah.
And got her a different payee, but this woman still owes her money and stuff, and she doesn't return calls for Social Security.
Real quick, was the recipient, the beneficiary, was she in prison or?
Well, she was her adoptive mom would put her in the mental hospital. She's a child.
Okay.
she would beat her with a wooden spoon and lock her in a mental hospital for months on end.
Okay. So if she was basically on. Oh, I'm losing you. I'm losing some internet connection. Okay, so can you hear me okay?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear
Yes.
me okay? Okay, cool. Yeah, it looks like
Yes.
our internet dropped there for a
Yes.
moment. So basically, here's kind of the deal. When it comes to, essentially this situation with her, yes, you can file a police report, and you should. Yes, you want to map out essentially when this when she was in jail versus not in jail, because OIG is going to need to use that to show that this lady was still paid during the times when she was not supposed to receive a check, because that's fraud. You're supposed to notify the SSA, and the payee is supposed to do that. So bottom line is, as a result of that, you want to map out when she was in jail and when she wasn't in jail. You want to map out essentially when she was, supposed to be receiving a check but wasn't receiving a check. And so with that said, that would be my suggestion, is that work with OIG to give them the things that they need. And all the prisons, the jails, the mental facilities that she went into for more than a month, they're going to want to know that.
What she did was they had children's hospitals local where she could have taken her, and she could have taken her anywhere local.
Okay.
But she drove 1,000 miles to another state and had her put in a children's psychiatric unit in another state, where she remained until her 18th birthday for months.
Okay.
Okay, so during that whole 4 or 5 months time frame that she was incarcerated in a children's unit, this woman never reported to SSA that she had been in a hospital or nothing.
Yeah, so that would be a bad thing. That would be a violation of their rules, because they're not supposed to pay benefits when somebody's inside a mental facility, a hospital, whatever, any of these things, for essentially, when the government is paying part of their stay, which, Medicaid or Medicare, when they're in there for more than 30 days. So yes, you want to map that out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. You
and
have
I hope to God they lock this woman up. She's a nut.
Oh, geez. Yeah. I mean, hopefully they'll be able to catch her. Hopefully they'll be able to charge her and then go from there. But I will catch you later. You have a wonderful night.
You too, honey.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, here we go with the next call. We're going to go ahead and put that on speaker. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Yes, Attorney Walter, thank you very much for everything that you do for all of us who are on SSDI or SSI.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to use an alias name, Brian.
Okay.
And I'm calling because I'm on Social Security disability. I've had multiple surgeries. I'm also being treated for depression and anxiety. And my issue is I've received some lump sum settlements, which I know that SSDI cannot touch, but I've invested this money into properties with my mother and my daughter.
Okay.
And I'm on the title, and there is passive income.
Okay.
Is there a way to do a trust or do something so that it doesn't come and touch me or preclude me from receiving my SSDI?
So the main thing is this, there are trust options out there, but you have to, as the person, so look, you can't be able to direct what happens, and then you can't really parties to you. So here's and remember, you still have the SGA limitation rule that SSI has. So, you got to keep in mind that $1,470, if you have a bunch of investment properties and people are paying rent on it, and it's the business of doing that, all of a sudden you're building up more money than the SGA would allow at the $1,470 limit. So I don't do these trusts that, and I've seen other people advertise that, yeah, you could do this trust and that trust, But remember, what this comes down to is somebody at the SSA is going to be reading this document because something went wrong. Let me explain what will happen, because this has happened before. A tenant will get pissed off about something that your family didn't fix or didn't do, or maybe you did do something and they weren't happy with the outcome, even though they should have been. They will then target the family members and basically report anybody that they can to any authority that they can. You and the SSA is one of those groups that will be reported. When that happens, right, even though, your name's on it, you potentially are getting income from it, whatever, the point is the SSA is going to look at that and say, well, hey, wait a minute, you're pulling in $3,000 a month from this income. And you'll say, well, it's passive and blah, 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 and it's all in a trust. But that's not going to really shield you, because at the end of the day, that money is capable of being directed by you as a part of a system, and you are the direct recipient of those funds as a part of that system. So there's no clear, definitive way to create a trust fund that you earn money off of, unless it's going into one of those special ABLE accounts and stuff like that. But that doesn't sound like your situation. So, bottom line is, there's no perfectly clear way to do this where basically, you could receive these funds. Now, options are, and remember, this is what people sometimes do. They'll have, somebody else receive the funds, and then they'll have a debit card in that other person's name, and that's considered to be wrong. It's illegal in the sense of SSA, who's actually using the funds that they're receiving. But I've seen people basically do that, where they'll have a debit card on behalf of somebody else, and then they'll just keep the debit card of them and use those funds to do that. Or they'll just get cash from one of the family members and, do that. But that is considered under the SSA rules wrong, because you're earning income and then not reporting income. So, those people are always living on the edge of the law. So is there any safe way to really do these trust funds? Not really, because what ultimately happens is this. They come out with a decision. You say, hey, screw you, I think I'm right. They say, hey, screw you, we think we're right. Then you file suit against them, right? You go through your appeals, you file suit against them. Then the judge is sitting there wondering what if he's going to go ahead and use the pierce the veil standard. Pierce the veil, when it comes to essentially trust funds, is where the judge looks past the basic general structure of the trust fund and goes deeper into it to see how it's being used, what's being done. And when the judge does that, the judge is going to see that you just basically have a trust fund set up for you to be a beneficiary who basically receives income. Because, that's what you're really getting at. How do I get paid from this money that I allowed all these, other people to go into business with me over to create these investment properties that create rental income that give me a monthly fund,
So maybe because I want these properties with my mom and my daughter because I'm disabled, if they buy me out or if I sign over my portion of the properties, I'm basically giving away my settlement money that was used for these properties, then I would be removed completely from the rental property and no longer would be under my name. In that instance, I should be shielded as long as they're receiving it and there's nothing connected to me. Or if I get back my money because it's a settlement money, is that kosher? Is that okay?
Well, then it would be essentially an income because they're paying you to take over an asset, right? You know what I mean? Because you're then converting assets that you have into basically you're selling, they're buying, so you're just creating an income, a big income, a big single time payment income. Here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. You could potentially have them put it into something where you have no directional capacity of any of this stuff going forward. And not even an email, not even a text message, etc. And then what they pay you is less than SGA. But, that's very similar to the idea of you put it in their names, and then from that property, they decide to pay you for you to be present and make, decisions related to it. But it's always got to be fair payments for the actual duties, completed or started. that equate to an amount less than SGA. Because remember, you're allowed 9 months where you get to earn whatever. Okay. So if you sold, you'd have to look at how you could label the sale, but maybe you could get into one of those 9-month trial work periods. Then after those 9 months are used up, you got the 36-month, extended eligibility. So in theory, you could keep your benefits so long as they're paying you under SGA. But then, over time, and how old are you, by the way?
Turning 56. And so I know I'm not close to the 62, and I know being in my 50s doesn't necessarily shield me, but they just did a review 6, 7 years. I just got the letter stating that they consider me still disabled and I have to do nothing, and they realize I haven't worked all this time.
Yeah. So my suggestion is you have to find a way to be an employee of this job that gives you for 9 months way over SGA and for 36 months under SGA, and then, under SGA repetitively. But, remember, you got 36 months. So that's, plus the 9 months. So that's almost 4 years right there. That'll put you into the bottom 60s, but you still got to ride from low 60s up to 67 because you're SSDI until you hit full retirement age to get max retirement. So, I mean, I don't know if they would do it because they might not want to do it with you, but I'd ride the 9-month trial work period, then the 36-month eligibility. During the end of the 36-month eligibility, I'd try and get onto a ticket to work where they allow you to certify, the company that oversees, basically those properties as a job where you can work, and then give you another 5 years until you roll into, but they may not allow you to do that once you're at so close to the end of retirement.
Now, I just need clarification. So if I hit 62, I don't have the option of retiring early. It has to be 67, even though I'm on SSDI.
No, you can take retirement early, but most people don't. I mean, I get where you're coming from of then I don't have this SGA rule and I can earn a whole lot more money off of these investment properties. Yeah, you could do that because, that'll put you real close with the 9 month plus the 36 months, which is, basically 4 years-ish, a little slightly less than 4 years. That gets you right in line. Yes, you could do that. But remember to calculate the differences of 8% a year kind of gig. I mean, look, how much money realistically are you supposed to be getting essentially, per month from these investments?
Well, the investments, they cover the mortgage, and my mom, she's 87. So one house covers her care because she's not eligible for Medicaid. She has Medicare, and it's for her care. And then my daughter, she's going into grad school to get her PharmD.
Yeah.
And she just graduated. So a good portion of that money is going to her. I mean, what comes to me is very minimal. It's like maybe a few $100, to be honest with you. Everything goes for the care of the house and to my mother and to my daughter. So for me, if I see $300 or $400, it's a lot. I mean, but I am getting about $2,700, almost $2,800 a month because of the work that I used to do professionally and the money I put into Social Security. So I get quite a substantial amount more than the average person, I think. So I don't want to lose that for a few $100.
Yeah. I mean, look, if this is a few $100 that you're going to end up with, you have to figure out what's the best strategy for transitioning these assets to the next lineup. And then basically, riding that to make sure you get the full maximum payment. Now with your settlement, are these impairments that are terminal in any way or likely to reduce life expectancy in any way? Or are these like, you're going to live just as long as everybody else?
They're impairments, but not, they affect my life, but it's not terminal, so like I have 2 titanium plates, one on each foot. I have some back issues. I need to get surgery. And then, of course, the psychiatric, the anxiety and the depression that I'm taking medication for and seeing ongoing a psychologist and psychiatrist on a monthly basis.
I mean, yeah, it's, you know, what I was looking for was like stage 4 cancer. You know, what I was looking for was like, you know, there's some sort of compassion allowance listing impairment where 6 months from now. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think you know what the answer is to this. You just have to be very careful with how you set it up. But if you're, you know, and remember, if you're truly only getting a couple hundred and they're on these properties, you just have to be careful, because remember, even if you set up a trust and each person gets this or this or this, you have to make it certain that you cannot, you know, basically direct it thereafter, modify it thereafter. Like you have to not be
Right.
with that capacity, because the moment the judge sees that, then all of a sudden you're in the mix, you know?
Now, there's one last thing I forgot to mention. I am married, or I remarried several years ago, and my wife stuck with me through all these surgeries and stuff. So she's a keeper.
Sure.
But if she's a licensed real estate agent, she got her license in Florida. That's the state we're in. And if she were to do an LLC, manage the properties, or even the properties be signed over because of her managing, I don't know if that's, I don't want to say loophole, but the money's being distributed through her LLC. If she establishes it and then pays my mom and my daughter, who really are the main beneficiaries, and I'm willing to cut my losses, obviously, for their sake. If everything's funneled that way, do you think that, you know, it's on paper and it's funneled that way, showing being paid to the LLC? If I were ever called in front of a judge, I mean, there's no connection with me other than she's my wife. So I don't know. You know the system better than me.
So here's the thing. We've been on the phone and people are on me in the chat section for too long. So what I'm going to say is this: just, you know, you would have to essentially move the properties over to the LLC. And that is extremely, extremely dangerous. Let me get the next caller. I will catch you later, good sir. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. Okay.
Thank you so much, Walter. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye. Okay, cool, guys. We're going to take next call. Let's see what we got here real quick. Hold on. Let me get this thingy going. I got to get a new phone because this thing is it's not doing well. Let's see. All right, hold on. Let's see what we got. I just got to get this to load. 1 second. One Shagunda. It says that little private thing again. I got to have it load that number. Come on, load the number. God, you know, Ring Central, come on, help me out here. Okay, it's not loading the number. So are there any questions that you guys want me to answer in the chat section while basically this phone figures out what phone number just called and I missed? So any questions at all, help me out, put them at the bottom. I'm reading through. Purple Mafia, yeah, no, totally, yeah. I agree. And yeah, so this private notice never even swapped over. I see Shirley said, what is everybody doing this weekend? I'm working and then flying. Let's see. Herman said cookies with Reese's. Okay, cool. Here we go. Here's the call. Let's get this rolling and speaker on. Here we go. We're going to call the person. This may be the last one of the night. We'll have to see. Feeling a little bit tired, but we'll see how we do on this thing.
Hello?
Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Okay. I go right to the point. I have a disability case tomorrow. I mean, not case tomorrow, but I have a appointment tomorrow, and I want to know some advice. I did the mental thing about 5 days ago, and then I got the final one tomorrow for disability. Now, I'm getting SSI, which I asked Social Security about 4 months ago. Why am I going doing disability when I'm going for SSI? As far as the grid rules, I'm 56, so it's 55 and over, and I'm only going for the mental thing. Why am I going for disability? The lady said, well, we're going to do that. We need to do that anyway to see if, you qualify for any money. And so I said, okay. So it's been about 7 to 8 months. From a couple of people I spoke to say it takes 3 to 6 months, 7 to 8 months. They got approved, they got their money. Thank God for that. So I have a disability thing tomorrow. What do I need to say? How do I need to go in? And what do you think I should do?
So when you say disability thing, do you mean like going in front of their medical expert, or do you mean like you're talking with the local field office?
the field office, because they got all my medical records, but a couple they didn't get. So they set up some on their own, because basically, to make a long story short, they got my medical records about 2 months ago, and they got it's a mental therapy person I've been going through since December. They got that already. So it was a couple of medical records they didn't have. So the lady said, listen, we're going to set up 2 appointments for you. You're going to come and see our doctor, et cetera, et cetera. And you're going to do the mental thing. And then I went, he asked me some questions, about 30, 40 minutes, done. So they set me up to see their own disability person as far as my medical records and everything tomorrow. So, you know, I seen a couple things on YouTube. I get some advice. I guess it's not that they don't believe me. They just setting their own people up just to see as far as a decision or whatever. So when I saw you on YouTube, I said, wait a minute, live, he's taking free questions. I mean, let me ask. Let me see what I should do. But I'm basically just going to meet with one person. You know, that's all.
Okay, so this is an SSA administrative person, not a doctor. So here's the deal. When you already had SSI benefits, and then they applied you for SSDI benefits thereafter once you were found disabled for SSI benefits, correct?
No, I never. It's my first time going for SSI.
Okay, so
in my life, yeah.
When did you? Are you on SSI benefits or no?
No, sir. I'm not on it.
Okay, so
I just applied because of what my people told me, and I seen the grid rules, and I agree with number 2 as far as being 55 and over.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I said, you know, why not try?
Okay, so basically, you have a meeting. You've already been to the doctors, and the meeting that they called you about is with the local field office. It's probably a pre-effectuation interview where they're doing an interview to ask you about, you know, financial questions about whether or not you meet the poverty standard for SSI. They're asking you about payment options, where the check should be sent. Is it going to be direct deposit? Is it going to go on a direct express card? Is it going to be a paper mail check? They probably are going to go through essentially the questions to see if you can be found disabled for the non-medical requirements. Unless it could also be, because keep in mind, I don't know where exactly you're at in the process. You could have signed up for a DDS actual conference, which is where you go into a place with the DDS rep and basically sit behind this glass wall, and they interview you. You answer questions that they may have, and then basically from there they go ahead and make a decision.
Yeah, it could. You know, it may be. Well, I think maybe it could be the first one you just said, because when I did the mental thing, they were just in a room with one guy, and he asked me some questions as far as everything was like mental type questions. Mm-hmm. I answered it. He asked me to count backwards, this and that with -7s. It was just simple stuff. Mm-hmm. So I did it, and then got there on time, and he asked me, how'd you get up here? Was it a ride? Did somebody drop you off? Then I seen something that sort of alarmed me. That said, the Social Security will follow you. They'll see if you are lying about something. I don't get caught up in that stuff because I know I'm you know, everything is truthful. You know, I'm 55, I'm 56 already, so I'm just trying to apply for SSI. That's it. I have really no work history, you know, because I did a couple of jobs back then, and it was always cash. Mm-hmm. So there you have it. So basically, I'm praying, I'm hoping everything goes well. And from what I heard, the 2 people that ended up getting SSI, one gets about $1,000 a month. The other one just got approved. They gave her $13,000 up front. She gets about $1,100 a month. So, and she told me, it takes 3 to 6 months, and it's been about 8 months. 8 months in my case. So my hands, fingers are crossed. So I only got one disability thing to go to tomorrow, and I'm hoping to go well. You know, as far as, like I said, they got my. So I'm just gonna bank on what you just said, the first one. I think it might be that. You know,
it could be a pre-effectuation interview. Is it with the local field office though? Like, is it that local office that you have an interview with that, you know, is like the local address that you could go to if you had a question for SSA benefits?
No, it was just basically, they just gave me a call and said, listen, I don't know if it's a pop-up thing, but they said, give me a call and said, listen, we got something coming up for you on August, and another a couple of days in August. We need you to go here. You're going to speak to this person and that person. So it could be. It could be, but
it's probably, like, it's either going to be that. Do you have the letter with you?
The letter? No, I should not.
Okay. So if you can find the letter, that's either going to be a CE appointment. Like you said, you did a mental one. They might be doing a physical one now.
Yeah. That's what it is, a physical disability.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
Right.
So if it's a physical, then they're going to send you to basically the physical specialist for your impairments. You'll go to that doctor, same kind of gig as the mental CE, but for a physical review. And they'll review you.
Right.
And then that doctor will write up, basically his notes. The notes will get sent to DDS. DDS will assimilate them into the DDE, the big report. The manager will review the DDE and decide whether or not you should go to quality control for approval or whether or not it's an instant denial. Now, remember, SSI only pays $914 a month. So there might be, they might be in a state where there's a state supplemental where they get a little bit more, or they might be getting a hybrid allowance with, concurrent allowance with SSDI benefits, where basically the SSDI benefits adds a little bit on top. But, usually SSI is $914 unless you live in a state that gives you kind of a boost. And the states that usually give a boost, they're all blue chip states. So, that's a potential too.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. Great advice. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, as far as I'm saying, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for your information. Well, but real quick, Eve, so me being over 55, 56 years old, and then as far as the mental thing, the therapy class I've been going through since early December, and I've documented everything. I'll be on time. I do what I need to do. I got like 30 or 40 visits in. So with that alone, like I asked the lady, I'm like, when she 4 months ago, she said, well, you need to do like a disability. I'm like, well, I'm not going for that. That's Social Security. I'm going for SSI. She said, well, we're just doing it anyway to see if you qualify for anything. So if they deny the disability, which I don't think they will, am I still good for a mental thing? Or
maybe.
It's up to them?
If they deny you for medical purposes, then you're not good for SSI. And SSI is both mental and physical. So is SSDI. They use the same medical standard. SSI is not just mental. There's a bad rumor going around that SSI is only mental. It's not. It's both mental and physical impairments. SSI is the poverty program where you just haven't paid in over the years, worked and paid FICA taxes, enough of them over the years to go ahead and have enough quarters of coverage that are recent enough. When was the last time when did you stop working over the table paying taxes?
Man, that was like 2010.
2010? Yeah. So you're going to be an SSI claimant. You're not going to have enough quarters of coverage. The SSDI claim, the regular disability claim, de facto will fail. So bottom line, this is only an SSI claim. Like only the SSI aspect of it will potentially go forward.
Oh, okay. Now, as far as medical,
sure.
If it's medical, I just need to take all my paper information. But if they have some of my information already as far as medical, and they got a couple of things that some hospitals have to send them, which is why I think they set up the appointment in the first place for, do I need to take anything since they got most of my paperwork, or I just need to take my ID and make sure I'm there and everything?
So we're approaching the 10-minute mark. So let me do this. I'm going to answer that real quick. Things you should take to the medical appointment. Number one, list of your top 5 most severe impairments. Number 2, your medication bottles. And number 3, basically recent reports, but summarized. Don't bring the whole darn thing. Summarize as to the pages that they want to see. Like if you have something with a printout with a zillion pages, I tell you what, though, I'm getting more and more calls in. Let me get the next caller and I will catch you a little bit later.
No. I'm finished. Thank you so much. God bless and thank you, sir.
Thank you, good sir. Have a wonderful night.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Holy cow, I got in. Thank you.
Yeah, howdy.
Hi, my wife is on disability, and we were supposed to have get that 3-year
CDR?
Yeah.
Okay.
The review.
Yeah.
And then they said it's canceled. So does that mean we're gonna go for they're gonna go for the 7th, or it's gonna happen the next year?
So, I mean, look, they reserve the right. So you can always call them after they've decided their CDR and see when the next one is scheduled. Like, because they'll tell you that usually with the local field office, if their machine has scheduled them. Most of these claims now are set up on a computer system that handles the scheduling and review. They even have machines that review medical documentation that they send out for. And they can even do E827s, which are electronic 827s, where they call you, hey, do you last go ahead and buy the medical records? Yes, blah, blah, blah. But they scan your medical records to see if there's any, thing in there that says, yes, you are still severely impaired. No, you're much better, yada, yada. So the point is, basically at the end of the day, and my shoe just fell off. The point is that you can call the local field office and ask them when you're scheduled for the next CDR. It could be a year, could be 3 years, could be 7 years. If there's any potential fraud, it could be at any point. But give them a call and see what they say, and they should be able to let you know exactly when that's going to be.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Absolutely good, sir. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You too, sir. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Perfect, guys. So I'm going to see if one more call pops in real quick. We are at 9:58. I know we usually go to about 10. I think there was one caller who kept calling. Let me see if I can find them on here real quick. Yeah, there were 7 missed calls during that period. Let me just see. We didn't have super high caller rate. Here's another call coming in, and click the button. Cool. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
I do have a specific question I was hoping you could help with.
Perfect. Go ahead.
So I have been on SSI since I was roughly 18, and then when I turned 26 back, until I was 26, and then last November I got a job that was a job I've been wanting for a long time. So I took the job, and it was above SGA, and because of that, I had to report back my income every month, and I had to pay back roughly $1,700 or so. And I got about $400 through that. And unfortunately, last month I was terminated. I personally think it was something related to my disability, but I was just curious on how I would go about getting back onto SSI, because I've gotten mixed info from my local office and online.
So, I mean, here's the thing. Okay, how long ago? So I don't remember the years you gave me, but how long ago were you on SSI? How many years?
Roughly 8 years, from 2012 until November 2022 or so.
And when did you stop working?
Actually, 2014. And then I stopped working June 20th of 2023.
So, okay, and I heard 2014 and 2022. You stopped having SSI when?
Whenever I took the job in November 2022, I believe. I stopped receiving it, and I'm not sure if I've heard that I might be on just suspended situation, or I might have been terminated.
Right. So usually if it's within a year, they can go ahead and, kick you back onto it. And you can basically go ahead and request that they, begin that. The other option is to just file the 8000 BK, the 827, the 3368 for, the new filing or whatever. But you really want to attach to the original. If you can, because the older rules would apply than the newer rules, and the newer rules are always more difficult to be found disabled on. The thing is this, you also need to file a 632 form to try and do a waiver on that overpayment for whatever's remaining. And, say basically good cause, you don't have money now, you're hoping that they'll waive it, you paid all that time, yada, yada. It's also under $1,000, and usually they're willing to waive those. And then, but remember, you might have to take it up a few. They play a bit of the game of like, oh, no, you need to pay this, and just keep fighting it, appealing it. And then they'll usually, if it's under 1,000, just kill it off. And then, but call them up, say you would like to reinstate your benefits for SSI. If they say that you absolutely can't, ask them to put it into a letter, and then look at the reasoning as to why. Because remember, it's a short phone call. I don't know all the weird little things that might happen, as a result of you being on the job, or things that you did, or what the timelines are, etc. But it is within a year. And if it is truly a problem and they do have a good, reason, then you're going to go with the SSI application filing, which means you can always just call them up and have them file you, do a mail-in of the forms, which is usually the best way, because you can spend time in the forms, make sure they're right. Or basically, go with the option where you can set an appointment, they'll call you and fill it out. So those are basically, some good options. Other than that, I've seen people who should have been suspended and then they brought the benefits back, and, like a prison stay, stuff like that. But I've also seen it where, there were weird little caveat rules where they were not allowed to go ahead and continue the benefits. There was something that triggered something which absolutely killed them. So go get their reasoning, because once I know their reasoning, that'll tell me the thing that they're worried about. And then I can always advise you in another one of these calls later.
Perfect. I got that written down. And then lastly, what was that the form with the 8 in it?
So the 827 is the HIPAA that they're going to need. You're going to need the 8000 BK, which is the SSI application. You're going to need the 3368, which is sorry, it's late. It's basically the form where you tell them what medical you've been to, etc. And potentially, depending on what they do, how they file you, what's going on, they go ahead and, they might do some weird appeal thing. One time I had a thing where they were like, okay, well, send us a 3441, update, to update us. That's normally an appeal form. I was like, what? They did that one time. That was outside of the norm. Don't do that, but that popped up one time. So if you want to go look at that form, that's something to do. Also, when you go ahead and submit the 632, make sure that you have an accounting where you outline specifically what you paid, what is yet to be paid. You no longer have a job, so you're seeking reinstatement of SSI benefits. But remember too, if you were essentially working over SGA continuously, they may want to look at this thing to see if you're still disabled and go through that. But again, find out what their issue was, because I'm sure they looked at the file and said, hey, there's an issue here, or there's not an issue here. But make sure that the issue they found, you're aware of. Have them send it to you in writing. That way you know.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your help today. I really appreciate it. And also thank you for what you do for everyone.
Thank you, good sir. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Likewise.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and relax a little bit. Super thank you to Shirley. Thank you that you were the triple donation per video, which is amazing. Please share this with your family and friends. Indeed, you never know who needs this channel in their life. Super true. Look, this person has called me like 5 or 6 times. Let me just do this call real quick because, hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. I saw that you called in a bunch of times, so we're going to be actually going after the 10 o'clock time to help you out. Attorney Walter Hnot. Yep. So go ahead. Let me know, what is your legal question that I can help with?
I was wondering about like if my mother wanted to leave me her house and I'm on SSI and SSDI, is there a way to go about that without being penalized? And also my daughter's disabled, so if I die, is there a way, you know what I mean, pass it on? And then like the ABLE accounts, if I set one up in my name, when I die, am I allowed to pass it to her because she's disabled too, or does it go to the state, like that sort of thing? So
you got to watch out with the ABLE accounts. I'm going to be doing a video specifically on them. Okay. So just, let me do a whole video on that, because that gets sticky. Okay. And the whole Medicaid. That, yeah. The whole Medicaid gets sticky. It looks good, but it's kind of a trap a little bit too. Yes, it is. It absolutely. So there's that. And but basically, you're allowed to have one house. So do you already own a dwelling or no? No. So then you're fine. Yeah, you can go ahead and inherit that house, and then basically from there, you should be good to go. You should be all right, because you're allowed to have that one dwelling. They can't, like, you could literally own the Taj Mahal. SSI? Yeah, on SSI, you're allowed to have one dwelling. SSI? Yeah, okay. and it's totally fine. If I were to sell it and get a smaller house, is that allowed? And then they just count the money while I have it, unless I spend it on things that and have the receipts and everything, So what you would have to do is a spend down, the classic SSI, get it under the resource limit. Yeah. Which has been more, yeah. I don't know how they've left it at $2,000. I mean, they've had it that way forever. It's ridiculous. I'm over it. Like, I can't get upset about it anymore. It's been too long. I really genuinely thought that President Biden was going to make some moves and grooves on that, because that's low hanging fruit. That was an easy one. But or at least let us work a little bit without getting, Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so I would love to be able to work like a part-time job and like bring in a little extra money, but you get penalized so much. It's like you're working for less than minimum wage at the end of it. Well, my thing was this. Look, let the SSI people earn their 4 quarters of coverage, pay taxes on that earnings, but don't penalize them on the 4 quarters of coverage worth. That way you get basically the 1,600 times, 5 or 4, and then basically they can earn some money, have some supplement to their SSI, and then at that point go ahead and and on the restrictions after they earn their 4 quarters of coverage. And then after enough years of earning those 4 quarters of coverage, they can swap over to SSDI benefits and then swap over to retirement program solution. But they just they didn't want to do it. So
and doing it that way, like people would maybe be able to eventually go to full time. But like when you're on SSI and stuff, you don't even want to try to work because you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
You get stuck in like the cycle of like just not working.
No, I hear you.
Normal.
You're allowed to have one dwelling.
So how would she go about? So I'm allowed to inherit the house for like free, like I can get it for free, and I'm not going to be penalized.
No, you just contract it over in a will. You could trust it over. You could do any one of those. Yeah.
And then my daughter's also disabled. Am I allowed to pass it to her, or will the state take it when I pass away? That's my concern.
No, you can pass it to her
because she's disabled, and usually the disabled child can stay in the house until they pass as well.
So there are so what and then it goes into the whole Medicaid situation. Yeah. So what I would say is this: I have a big video. It is a monster video because there's so many caveats to that damn rule. And then when they take it, people are like, I can't believe it, they're taking my house. So I have not done a video on that yet.
But from what I've found, if you're a disabled adult child and you've been living in the house for 1 year, you're allowed to
live the rest of your so you get a DAC allowance. That is true.
But then my daughter's a disabled adult. My daughter will, if she still continues to be disabled, she'll be a disabled adult child. Is she allowed to inherit from me, or will the Medicaid take it when I die?
You will have you'll have
know what I mean?
You'll have to use special trusts to take it out of the position that you can manipulate the asset and have an actual you be the grantor, and then there's an actual trustee. And so there's things that you have to do to protect the asset, or in fact it would be something your mom would have to do for that particular situation. But I'm doing a whole big video on that.
To be passed down.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think I'm going to be doing that.
Who would I see? Like a disability trust lawyer? Like, are there disability trust lawyers?
Oh, just a trust attorney.
What type of lawyer would I go?
It would just be a trust attorney.
And they know about Social Security and stuff?
They should. I mean, they should.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's, a lot of disabled people have to utilize trust. Yeah.
Trust attorney instead of a disability attorney and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. I don't do trust because, they take so much time to write them up. Even when you when you have like,
between Social Security, like that's a whole like monster of itself. And then, like trust, that's like, it's a different creature.
Yeah. And not only that, it's like I got the law firm, the YouTube channel, and then restoration projects. And it's like, but
I know. You're
I'm super busy.
Jack of all trades,
yeah. Indeed. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say a master of none. I mean, I've been working on disability for a while. In fact, funny thing, people got on me because I made that one video where I disagreed with Jonathan Ginsburg, who's in Georgia. And I used to send claims to him all the time that were Georgia based before we went nationwide. And they were like, you shouldn't make fun of your elder. And I was like, my elder? The hell are you talking about? My clarification with that was like, because remember, I've been doing disability benefits back when I was in college, and then I was doing them with masters when I was working in the field with that. Sure. And then in law school.
Since you came out of the womb, you've been doing it.
Well, I've been working on it a while. Then when I was in law school, I worked for Richard Schwartz. Now you want to talk about my elders. My elders are like Richard Schwartz. Richard Schwartz practiced disability law for almost 70 years. Almost 70 years. So, like,
since Vietnam, literally.
I mean,
since Vietnam.
Like, that's just insane. Like, literally, the bar had to give him a pin for 65 years of service.
Does he still have hair?
No, of course not.
Does he still have hair?
Well, no, he's Jewish. The Jewish guys don't have hair. We all lose our hair. It's just what happens. Yeah. But no, so yeah, he that's who I would call my elder in this would be like Sarah Bohr, would be like Richard Schwartz, stuff like that. Those individuals would be my elder. What an amazing experience that was to learn from the guy who's been doing it since like, people lived in caves. And it's just like, it was such a great experience. They did, I swear there were caves somewhere. Yeah. But anyways, I will catch you later. I am going to do a video on that. So there's two main videos.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, have a
anything
wonderful.
in that area, but I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
no
you
worries.
as well.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye. Okay, guys. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing a video specifically on how Medicaid works, how the ABLE account works. Some people don't realize that as bills, unpaid Medicaid situation, and I have to do the whole thing on it, but they can potentially lose their house to the Medicaid agency. It's an offset provision. And that is one of those things where people lose their mind because they're like, well, I didn't know this. And to be fair, it's not super available online. So we're going to make a video about it. And then people are going to get really upset once I do that video and I explain how it works. And they're going to be like, how dare the government? And we're going to go through that phase. But you have to understand with SSI is the helping hand at the end of the rope. It is the program of last resort, but it's also a trap sometimes. So just as a heads up, we're going to go through that. I will catch you guys a little bit later. I'm so sleepy tonight. You guys have a wonderful night. In a couple of days, I'm going to be reunited with my doggies. So I'm really excited about that. We do have the epic room of the house in Florida, that video that's going to be released soon. Please remember to like, subscribe, and if you could leave a review, Disability Resolution Florida, Disability Resolution Law Firm. I always appreciate seeing those. I will catch you guys a little bit later. I do know that for some reason, YouTube is not submitting my videos to people when I go live. I know that they are not, that right now they're just not showing up in a lot of the, search result options, like the suggested searches. They did write back to me today. I have to go into it in more detail as to what's going on, but I should have an update. Now, a super duper thank you to T-Paw. Additionally, a super duper thank you to Shirley, who was a triple donator, 3 videos, and Purple Mafia. Thank you guys for donating. I really appreciate it. I will catch you guys at the next video, or basically we'll catch up in the not too distant future. Have a wonderful night. We'll go from there. Thank you so much, guys. Have fun. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.